Okay everyone, this is the rag joint. This is where it attaches to the gearbox. 11mm bolt goes through there. This rag joint actually doesn't look bad, but it's a common issue for them to go out. So we're gonna put this one instead. Now, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to modify this shaft to accept that slot. So I've never done this stuff before, but I've worked with metal for 12 years. But I've been working with metal for 12 years, so I should be able to modify this shaft to work with that. Knowing how anal I am, I'm gonna go through and measure exactly how much I need to take off to make that work. But stay tuned, I'll explain how I did it. First thing I'm gonna do is grind off these two rivets. There's one there and one there. I gotta take my grinder, probably on this side, grind those flat, pop these rivets out, and this should just all come off. Then we can see what we're working with this. So stay tuned, I'll figure it out. Maybe you'll just see this put on, or right before I put it on, but we'll see. All right, so we got the rag joint out. There she be, the old one. I used a cutting wheel, just cut those two rivets off. One tap of the hammer and it flew off. But you see what we got going here. I gotta figure out how to remove that sleeve. So maybe I'll just take my cutting wheel and cut it right along there, and it'll split in half in two pieces. Maybe that's what I'll do. Just gotta be careful not to gouge this piece here when I cut this. So pretty sure it's just from there to there I need to cut, like just slice. So I'm gonna do that and I'll come back, but hopefully this thing's not totally hollow, because if it is, I'll probably have to fill it up with some kind of metal, a filler, and make it stronger to put that in it and grind it down. We'll see. Time will tell. I mean, I have to take this off and then hopefully put that on. If this doesn't work, okay? If this doesn't work, I got another steering shaft in that one. So I don't want to take the steering shaft out of that one, but if I have to, I have to. All in the name of trial and error, huh? Here we go. All right, so cutting that worked like a charm. You see, I touched it a little bit with my cutting wheel. Just a little, but I don't know where there it is. I gotta throw these away. They're probably hot. Oh yeah, a little warm. I'll set these over here with my scrap metal. Too bad that lower's junk because of that. Because somebody would pay good money for that if it wasn't for that. But all right, now I gotta figure out. Let's see here. I know this ain't gonna fit. You can see. Well, maybe. You know what? Some slight mod. Okay, I'm gonna do some slight modifications. Like, this needs pushed in or removed, and this needs pushed in. So if I flatten those out, it should actually fit in there. I may not even have to cut or modify too much, just do a little bending. Let's see how this works. Okay, before I do this, I went ahead and got my Allen keys to adjust these set screws, and then I'll have a socket to set the nut. So, but I was looking at this, and you see how it slopes upward here and downward here. That's gonna suck if we try to just flatten that. So what I think we're gonna do, instead of flattening, we're gonna take something flat like this and then slam it with a hammer and create an indent versus an outdent, or protrusion, whichever you want to call it. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna slam it till it's about down here, I'd say. I might, you know what? You could even just snip it right there, snip it off right behind the flare. I might do that. I'm gonna mark it out. But first, we're gonna try this method so you can see that. But if this doesn't work, we can always just cut that little bit off with our angle grinder and cutting wheel. but that's the next step. We're getting in there. We're doing it. Okay, so I went with option C. I didn't go with the other two. So instead of hammering, I was having an issue with that. And then I figured out, instead of just cutting those pieces off, I just grind them down. Now, I use the cutting wheel to grind these down. Use an actual disc. Do not use a cutting wheel as a grinding wheel, because you'll wind up gouging it unless you have experience like I do. Like, I know it doesn't look the prettiest because it's a cutting wheel, but check it out. Let me try to do this with one hand while videoing. Oh, finger got stuck in it. There you go. Slides. Right, I can do this. Set it down. You can see it goes right on. Now I just gotta tighten these up. I might put some blue Loctite on these just to be safe, and then yeah, that's probably what I'll do. But it's a snug fit. I mean, it doesn't wobble at all. You see, like, I didn't even tighten it yet. There's no wobble. So that's really good. Now I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna tighten these, and then we're gonna be ready to throw this shaft back in. And when I do, I gotta make sure this, pay attention, this exact little nut and bolt, it needs to go over that shaft. If I can, where's that? Right there. It has to go over that shaft, and that flat spot, it's got to tighten right there, right on top. So whenever we do this, that goes right in that flat spot. So I'm getting ready to throw this thing back in. Let's go. Something else I just thought of before I throw this in. Got exposed metal here. You want to cover it up. I'm going to do that and let it sit for 10-15 minutes before I mess with it, and then I'll tighten up that piece there onto that. So, but that's what I'm doing first, because I don't like this exposed metal. I got this can. It was just sitting around. Red's not my preferred color, but it'll work. So I'm not too worried about the color. I just want it to work, protect the metal. But after we spray that, I'll be back. I'll explain that the reason the paint matters so much, and that the color doesn't matter. Paint will protect against the rust, and then this boot will also cover it, so the color's not going to matter. So this boot will go over top of that, so you won't even see this piece. Could have painted that whatever I wanted it to, but yeah. So I'm gonna let this sit 10-15 minutes till it's tacky. Put that on it, slide it over, tighten it, slap it in. Once that's done, and this is rebolted, because this joint's actually not bad, it's just the rubber that's bad. So I don't really care about that too much. So once that's slapped back in, we got to put the valve covers on, change the spark plugs, and that's the next step. Valve covers, spark plugs, and then start prepping for the intake to go back in. It's a long process and a big job. No wonder no garages around like doing this type of stuff anymore, because it takes too much time. The smaller jobs add up to bigger revenue. Makes sense. But yeah, this is where we're at. So stay tuned. It's coming. Okay, everyone, it's time. So this is tacky enough. You see, I can touch it. Paint doesn't come off. Fingerprints stay on it though, but whatever. So we're gonna be very careful. Oh, there it goes. We're gonna be very careful and slide that on there. It's really hard with one hand. I think that's as deep as it goes. Then we're gonna tighten these. Take out our handy dandy, ridiculously hard to use tool with one hand. We're gonna tighten these. And I'll be back because I can't tighten this one-handed. So we'll get these tight and we'll be back. Okay, to show you guys where we're at, because I wanted to show you something else, but we got the shaft back in. We're getting ready to put the bolt in the top there, but you can see you know, you don't see no red paint. Everything went in nicely. Everything bolted up nicely. You can kind of see it down there. Let's see. You can see where it's sleeved. Made it the whole way down and then tightened. It's not going anywhere. So I'm having an issue with that top bolt right there, which is a 15 millimeter nut with a rounded nut, rounded bolt. Oops, sorry, like that. And you see all this gunk on here? I cannot get the nut back on because of that gunk. And I was wondering why I had to heat this up to get it off. I almost caught the firewall on fire trying to get this out, just with that little torch. But even being really careful, I almost did that. So be very careful taking this out. But I'm telling you, go to AutoZone, spend the 40 bucks, get this set here. I'm telling you, it'll save your life. When stuff like this happens, you can just run it through, clean the threads. I will be right back. I'm going to clean this up and show you. Okay, so with a little work, I heated up the bolt to get that thread shit off of there. And then I ran the correct thread bit through it. And then I put it through and you can see nothing because it's blurry. You can see these threads are nice and clean. Now I can thread my bolt. I thread my nut right onto there. And we'll be set. So after we get that done, I think the only thing I'm going to do today is valve covers and take a break until I can get back to it because I'm pretty tired from just that. This was not hard to put in, but it takes a lot of effort to get it in there. And then also, I want to tell you another little tidbit. This light you can get from Walmart. It was 15 bucks. And it has different light settings. It has a front light and an emergency red light and a strobe. But 15 bucks and it's rechargeable. So, and it's also, if I can, well, it's magnetic. So, anywhere you need to put a stick-up light, and it also has a hook. You can hook it on somewhere. But I found this comes in handy. So, I wanted to tell you about that. And then another thing while you're at Walmart, if you're on a budget, can't afford a really nice step ladder to get into your engine bay, just buy a couple pavers. They're like $2 a piece, and you can get 3-4 of them for like 10 bucks. You just helps you work on it a little easier, helps you reach those hard to reach areas. Just there's a couple inches of ground clearance help. But that's all for this, I think. I'm just going to put that nut on and we are done with this. So stay tuned. We'll get those valve covers rolling. Okay, so I thought I had some blue Loctite. I'm going to put some blue Loctite on that, but I have to run into the store and get some. So I wanted to explain something while we were here, but I wanted to point that out. If you're doing something like this, the more new parts you put in, the better off you're going to be, because you have it down to this point already. All right. So in my mind, it makes the most sense that anything you touch that looks kind of just replace it. I mean, unless you can't afford to, go ahead and slap it back together. But in the long run, it's going to last you way longer if you just replace it now while you're here. For instance, my thermostat housing is junk. But I know a lot of people reuse them because it's just a housing. But the one I had, I don't like it. I had both of them. Both of them were junk. I didn't like either one of them. I don't know if I could put them over here or not. Yeah, I don't think I put them over here. I think I just tossed them because they were just garbage. But I bought the housing, thermostat gasket. I'll just show you. We got everything. Pretty much everything we need to redo this whole build here. Okay. There's our nice clean valve covers. I got new grommets and everything, new gaskets for these right here. I got a new gasket here. That's for the between the intakes. Here's our rebuilt Spider that we're getting ready to throw in whenever we get our lower intake put in. Brand new spark plugs. I went with AC Delcos. Went ahead and splurged and got the PCV valve because that usually goes bad, and these were a couple bucks. Also got the new rubber grommet for it. I needed torque wrenches because I didn't have them, so I got inch-pound and foot-pound torque wrenches from AutoZone. This back hatch does not have a working latch. Plus, this hatch doesn't even match the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this hatch off. And then I'm gonna put this hatch on because it's the same color. So, not even, it's just the tailgate really. So, just gotta replace the tailgate, put that tailgate over here, and I'll do body work to it as I can, but I just want it to match for now. Because this one here I'm rebuilding for my wife. She's getting a custom build. It's not even gonna have a 4.3 in it anymore. I'm gonna try to do the 5.3 build with a 4L65 or a 70E trans with four-wheel drive transfer. So that's gonna be a fun build. And I'm also gonna do an off-road build for this with a 4-inch lift, roughly 31s, and ZR2 wheels from a 2001 or 2 Blazer, because they fit perfectly on these hubs. And I'll do the same exact build height wise and everything with this, except mine will have these original 4x4 wheels on them because I like that style on this Blazer. And I'm going to repaint it. This one's going to be gunmetal gray. This one's going to be like a plum purple. So it's going to be cool. I can't wait to get these built. But anyway, I think that was all the parts I have. Oh yeah, I got this boot for the mass airflow because both of mine were shot. And we got a new ignition coil, we got new oil, new antifreeze. Got some thermal paste. I can make my gasket china walls in the front and back for the intake. And I went ahead and got this O-ring kit because why not? You know, it was like 10 bucks. And O-rings are always nice to replace if you can. So that's what we got going.